Hello and welcome on Thomas Geiger Car. Today with the Porsche Cayenne Coupe. It took the Stuttgart manufacturer quite a long time to see the success of BMW X6 and Mercedes GLE Coupe to find an answer. But now in the third generation Cayenne, they also have a coupe that will hit the streets later that summer. If you don't want to wait until that to know how this car feels and performs, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you more about it. The drive of the Cayenne Coupe is definitely on the more sportier side, as you might expect it from a Porsche. No complaints about BMW X6, especially if you go for the M version. And also the GLE from Mercedes is a pretty agile car, but this one is definitely the most dynamic in the trio. It will be offered for the moment with two engines, the 3-liter V6 of the base model with 340 horsepower and the 4-liter V8 of the turbo with 550 horsepower going up to 286 kilometers per hour, which is even more impressive if you consider the weight of the vehicle that is beyond 2 tons. But there's another difference to BMW and Mercedes. This car will be offered on the long run with all the engines you know from the Cayenne, including at least one, maybe even two plug-in hybrids, an option you can't get at BMW or Mercedes, making this car even more interesting and even more safe for the future. While the rear seat feels a bit different than in the standard model, the front seat is very familiar to me because everything looks the same as we know it from the standard Cayenne. We have the same digital cluster instrument with the analog rev meter. We have the same big touchscreen and the beautiful center console with the sensor buttons that operates like switches without having switches. And we have the sporty steering wheel with this small button to change between the separate drive modes from the standard Sport Chrono package. Well to use, but to my taste still a bit cheap looking plastic for a part as important as that. Other than that, very modern, very nice. If you like the Cayenne, you will love the Cayenne Coupe. And if you don't like it, you better go for Mercedes or BMW. For a coupe, it's all about design. And to my taste, the designers have done an amazing job. The front is the same as we know it from the Cayenne. Nothing changed here. But beginning from the A-pillar, the car is pretty new. We have the lower roof, a faster roofline, and a back that is really beautiful. While the BMW X6 is very bold and is like a middle finger showing to the car behind, and the Mercedes GLE somehow is out of shape, this car is really well proportioned and really looking good if you see it from the side or if you see it from the back. What also helps with that is the fixed rear spoiler at the end of the roof and a deployable rear spoiler at the end of the trunk. Talking about the trunk, the car does not only look good, it is also still very roomy and versatile, something we're gonna check out in a second. Sitting on the rear seat of the Cayenne Coupe is surprisingly comfortable. Since the engineers have lowered the back seat for about 2 centimeters, headroom is still enough. Okay, you have to take your head down once entering because the door is also a bit lower, but once you're sitting here, it feels very comfortable and very roomy due to one standard feature that is mounted on every Cayenne Coupe, the gigantic panoramic roof, one of the biggest in the segments, without any divider between the two seating rows. That's the standard version. If you want to have it more sporty, then you can opt for the lightweight package. Then the roof will be made of carbon fiber and it will have 2 bubbles like you know them from the GT and the RS models of the Porsche 911. Not as comfortable from the inside, but cooler looking from the outside. And with the lightweight package, you also got a different rear seats. Then you don't have the 3-seater like I have it here. You got 2 bucket-like seats in the bench in the back. So If you want to have the comfortable ride, go for the standard model. If you want to have the cool ride, go for the lightweight package and the car will look even more sporty and more aggressive. The coupe does not only offer proper space on the back seat, also the trunk is still big enough. Electrically open trunk lid gives you access to a storage capacity of 625 liters with the rear seats folded up and more than 1600 liters with the rear seats folded down. You lose about 20 liters in the upright position and about 150 liters in the folded position compared to the standard Cayenne, but still enough to go on a vacation with 4 or 5 people. Thanks for joining me on that first review of the new Porsche Cayenne Coupe. A car that is really late, but that is great. It does not only look good, it drives as good as you might expect it from a Porsche. And it is a fresh approach to the segment and an interesting alternative to the well-established BMW X6 and the not-so-nice-looking Mercedes GLE Coupe. So for me, it was definitely worth the wait. Thank you, Shishye and Zaijian.